Cera, thank you
Hi.
for joining us. We'd just like to ask you first, you've mentioned previously that the European digital economy is growing at a pace that is 7 times faster than the traditional economy. What are the reasons behind the growth?
I suppose one of the key reasons behind the growth is it's the size of the market. So it's a European market or a global market, so it's not restricted by geographical boundaries. So before, a business was probably restricted to doing business within a certain geographical boundary or the area which it advertised, whereas digital is wide-reaching, borderless, and therefore it increases the scope to reach your target market or your target demographic a lot more. I would also say the kind of free movement of goods and ease of movement of goods, a lot of new technologies online. So a lot of the business that's been done now is new business, whether that be in the gaming sphere, in the software sphere, buying apps, all these things that didn't exist 4 or 5 years ago. So there's actually a whole new categories of business that exist that didn't exist a number of years ago, or wouldn't be counted in traditional economic growth indicators.
Yeah, gaming's huge.
Yeah.
How does Google help businesses drive business growth in the digital economy?
Well, so Google helps a number of ways. So number one is depending on what products and services clients are using of Google, so they either get account management or their agencies get support, so we kind of help them come up with solutions to their communications problems and help them that way. Then we run a number of programs, whether it be our breakfast briefing series that we're currently running in Ireland, where we do a series of free open talks to raise the bar on digital education in Ireland, and it's really just surfacing all the material and resources that's out there that can help either a very small business or a large business learn about digital. Digital moves so fast, digital marketing, it's impossible to keep up. Like even the likes of me, you just can't keep up. You have to be in continuous learning. So a lot of what Google tries to do is identify what business objective a business has and tries to give them the resources that would help them sort of solve that objective. So we have an awful lot of resources online, whether it be on our own YouTube channels or AdWords blogs, and it is about sort of getting that out to marketeers and digital people that want to learn more.
What is your advice to marketers and advertisers?
So specifically in relation to marketers and businesses, in terms of advice, I would say is communications methods are changing, marketing methods are changing. My advice would be to reassess your marketing mix, and digital won't always be right for you, but it might be. So, you know, pull apart your traditional media plans, do some attribution. What's worked in the past mightn't work in the future. It's okay to kind of shake it up a bit, try new things. So test and reiterate, we would say a lot, is test new things, dip the toe, see does search work for you, see does display work for you, see does, you know, video work for you, see does mobile work for you. It isn't a one size fits all across digital. You know, people say, oh, I tried digital, but there's so much within the digital sphere. There's a lot there to try and a lot of new things coming on constantly. So my advice is reassess your business or your media plan regularly and try new things, test small tests and have clear objectives. I think the one thing I notice is clients aren't very clear about what they're trying to achieve online. They think they need to have presence on social, presence on search, presence on video, but what's your business objective, or what are you actually trying to achieve? Are you trying to make a sale? Are you trying to build a brand? Are you trying to get eyeballs? So very clear objectives, otherwise you can get lost in the digital world, like with any communications plan, but have very clear objectives.
At our DMX event, Social at Ogilvy Managing Director Marshall Manson discussed why marketers should now use paid to drive earn. This is a new way of thinking about the way marketers look at advertising. What, in your view, does that mean?
So for me, it would probably be where brands are creating lots of wonderful content. You know, so it's all about content now. It's not about a spot or an ad. It's about a piece of content that somebody wants to consume. That could be a video, it could be a game, it could be content in any way, shape or form. But you need to allow the public to find that, or your target demographics. So you need paid to allow people to find the content, and then from there you'll earn more. So my view would be that there is no point in having wonderful content up there if nobody can find it. So you'd use paid things like search. So if people are specifically looking for something, then that would point them to your content. And then from there, they have knowledge of your brand or knowledge of your content. They'll go back of their own accord and won't need that to be surfaced to them anymore. They'll already know what your brand or what you stand for as a brand, so it's there.
So paid is the way to drive earn.
Yeah, like you can get earned without having to do paid, but if you look at a lot of these big campaigns, whether it be the likes of a Tipex or whether it be the likes of, you know, Skittles or any of these amazing ads or pieces of content, SodaStream, they've all been seeded. Like none of them, there's no such thing as a viral. They've all, money has been put behind them. Dove sketches, for instance, the famous Dove sketches. Yeah, people go on now and find that of their own accord. They don't go through paid means. They go onto YouTube and watch it. But that was initially pushed out through paid. It would have never reached that status, that cult status. It was never filtered out to society. It's all filtered out through paid. You know, yes, it's up on social platforms, but how are the eyeballs finding them on social platforms? It's actually through paid means.
And moving on to you personally, you've had phenomenal success in your career to date, and many people in the industry respect you, probably even more so because you haven't got the stereotypical Trinity degree that would be associated with Google. Looking back on your career milestones, what has been the key to that success, and maybe what advice would you give to those aspiring marketers that idolise you in ways?
Okay, so I started off wanting to be a journalist, and then decided very quickly I liked business too much, or the commercial side of it. What advice would I give, or what's led to my success? Been passionate about what I do. I've always been very passionate, whether it was my days in 98FM or News Talk or Image now Google. I've always believed in the brands that I've worked for and represented. I've always been confident that they worked for my customers. I don't think I could sell, you know, an ad or a promotion or something that I didn't think worked. And I always, thankfully, never had people managing me, or I was never forced into sell something that I didn't believe worked. So I was happy that what the solution that I was selling to my customers was the right thing for them. All of the stations, we never really just sold packages. There was always scope to be creative within that and come up with bespoke packages for clients. I really like that, and I've been passionate about that. So one, I think, yeah, be passionate about what you do and believe in what you do, or believe what you're selling or what you're promoting, or the brand that you stand for. Hard work. You know, I work hard. I don't think anything comes easy. I'm also very interested in business and people's businesses. So that really helps, because all my customers are business people. So whether it be, you know, an entrepreneur or someone like Mark Roden and EasyTop that, you know, we work with, or whether it be, you know, a big brand manager or marketing director of a major firm, I care whether their business works and whether their business objectives are being met. So I actually have a genuine interest in what people are trying to achieve in business, and that, for me, has made my business, what I do, very easy then, because it's like, what do you want to achieve? Okay, I think this works, or this doesn't work. Have you tried this? And I just like it.
So you think that's the goal, is to find something you're passionate about and something that you believe in?
Yeah.
And go from there?
Yeah. And it has to be real passion. I think if you're, you know, I've always worked for suppliers, and it can be seen as dirty salespeople or whatever, but actually what you're trying to do is solve some form of communication problem for your customer, and it is a partnership, and it should be a through partnership. So the more that your clients let you in and tell you what they're trying to achieve using your platforms, the more help you can bring. So I like building up that relationship with my customers, encouraging my team to build up that relationship with their customers, that they tell us what they're really trying to achieve, and we go, do you know what, this might suit you better, or have you tried this? And don't go for the money in the short term, because that never works. Whether it be a career choice or whether it be out of a client, it's a long-term thing. So yeah, do be passionate, put in hard work, and care about your clients, and it's great.
And back on to Google, what do you think is the future for search?
Oh wow, future for search. So we're moving into the predictive era. So scarily or not, that can be a case of where using your past habits or your regular habits to try and predict what you might want before you even realize you want it. So for instance, we would have a product now, or it's not even a product, we have a facility now called Google Now that you can activate, and it tries to, you know, if it knows that I commute from Castleknock to Barrow Street every day, because it can tell from my GPS in my car and know my route, so it will give me my traffic routes. And it will tell me if there's a crash in any of the routes and give me alternative routes. It'll tell me that it's raining outside, that I might want to take a brolly. Or it'll tell me that I have an appointment now, I have to be out in the Marketing Institute in Leopardstown to judge about, it'll know that from my calendar. I allow it to see my calendar, and it will tell me that it's time to leave now because the traffic is bad on, you know, Brewery Road, and you need to get to the Marketing Institute. So it's that predictive era, and I think it's brilliant. People obviously are concerned about how does Google know that, but you set your privacy settings, you decide what it can or can't see. So you say, okay, I'm giving it access to my calendar so that it can tell me my route to where I'm going to go, or not, as the case may be. But it's all about enabling life so that you don't have to think about the little things. You can just get on with life. It can, you don't have to worry about the traffic. You don't have to search the weather. It's there. You know. I put my flights into my calendar, and it'll tell me, you know, that my flight's delayed or something before I even get to the airport, or I have more time, or yeah.
Did not know that.
Yes, that's predictive era, and then it's interesting. It's not monetized yet, but that's the way it's moving. Really interesting.
The important question is, how does online advertising fit into this? How is Google going to achieve what it currently is achieving?
Yeah, and as I said there, you know, the predictive era, things that aren't fully monetized yet. And they'll take their time, because people, you have to be very careful about monetizing technology, and you know, people are very wise to that, and thankfully, you know, Google always puts user first. So hence the reason on YouTube we invented the skippable ad, because that's giving the user the choice as to whether or not they want to watch that ad. And ultimately then only the advertiser pays if somebody watches it. So it's all about putting choice back in the hand of the user. People don't like to be interrupted. They don't like to have things coming over their screens. They don't like, so I think you have to be very careful when you're online about how intrusive your advertising is on the end user. And Google will always put the user first and give the user choice. So I think as long as we keep doing that, it will do well. Hence, like search ads, anytime you search, the ads are very relevant to your search, i.e. the keywords that you typed into the search bar. So it's about relevant information that we think would be useful to that user at that time. And if they don't want to engage with that ad, or they don't have to. So that's the whole idea, is giving people choice, and then decide what they're hitting.
So what you're saying is Google has almost kept with the ethos of do no evil?
Yeah, it has, and users first. So do no evil is one of the 10 mantras. Another one is, you know, look after the users and all else will follow. You know, there's times when we have stopped using commercial units that were very profitable from my perspective, but our engineers or product engineers decided it wasn't the right thing. Users didn't like them, so we won't. As I said, TrueView, the skippable ads on YouTube, is a prime example of that. We won't force people to watch ads that they don't want to watch. TV people are tearing their hair out about it, but yeah, it's an interesting concept, and then it puts pressure back on marketeers to develop great content and great ads. Exactly. But then if someone's choosing to watch your ad, they're really engaged with your brand, and it's out of choice, and they don't have any negative connotations because I was made watch that ad again. It's like, oh, I like this ad, I want to watch it, I like that song. So
what does the future hold for Google and the sales team in Dublin?
Oh wow, so more great work with clients. The sales team in Dublin is constantly expanding, which is great. So the sales team in Dublin service all of EMEA, so Europe, Middle East and Africa. And there's a lot of emerging markets there, so obviously a lot of the Middle East and Africa is emerging market. Ireland is a new market, it's only 2 years old. So all of those markets are getting bigger, and as that happens, clients are getting bigger in them, so therefore the sales teams are going to get more. So first of all, I would say more jobs. Secondly, I would say as digital becomes more advanced, or clients get more used to digital platforms, I think there'll be some great campaigns run out of Dublin. And it's going to be amazing, because there actually are going to be all the work and all the creativity and all the innovation will actually be coming out of the Dublin campus, which is great. You know, Ireland will have a great reputation as producing this content, and it'll raise the talent bar, the marketing bar within Ireland, and I think that's really, really good. There's also talk of major brands developing digital hubs and search hubs in Dublin. So before, for years, we would have heard of marketing teams being moved back to London or Germany or New York, you know, being pulled out of small markets. Really interesting now, some major brands are talking to the likes of us on Facebook and Twitter going, hang on, if all you guys are in Dublin, maybe we should just put all our digital people in Dublin, you know. So I think that's exciting times too, as chances are I think what we'll see is the digital arms, marketing teams, or maybe even the full marketing teams, coming to Dublin to be in close proximity to Silicon Docks down in Barrow Street and that cluster of the big tech firms down there, which could be really interesting for the future.
Very interesting, and improve that growth even further.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Cera. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
That was Cera Ward, who's Country Manager for Google Ireland.